Now, there could be many reasons why we could not be living our best lives, but for purposes of this video, I'm going to highlight one in particular. So in a negative sense, just continually dwelling on things from the past, from the not so past that we could have done differently, things that happened, things that if we knew what we knew today, we would not have done yesterday. Uh, these things add no benefit to this life, to the fullness, the joy that we can experience today. But believe it or not, on the flip side though, regret can also be a good thing. Now, for some of us, the reason for the regret may mean that we may have to make amends or get things cleared with another party. You know what I mean? And so, if within reason that's something that you feel you need to do or can do, by all means, I would highly recommend starting there. Okay? And then also, just as important as that is, forgiving yourself, wiping the slate clean for yourself is equally as important, because we have to learn how to I had to learn how to let my regrets flip over and become not just a regret, but a piece of gratitude. I had to make it my launching pad. Like, I didn't want to build on it, but I build from it. Now, let me ask you, do you sometimes feel that you left like a big chunk of who you are back there somewhere, way back there somewhere? Like, you're not quite the same you that you used to be. Now, we're not talking about, the you that was younger or the you that was smaller or the you that was whatever. Nothing superficial, but the fundamental you, the core you. If you don't feel as if you are present today, then perhaps you've left something or a part of you back there. I was there for a very, very, very long time. Believe me when I tell you. And so I just decided one day, after praying about this over and over and trying to put different things into practice superficially without addressing the core Nia, I just woke up one day and said, I can't let everybody else love me like they do, and I don't even love me. So believe it or not, you have more power, people, to take this thing back than you think you have. So there's a few things I started doing, playing around with over the years to help myself out. And, a couple of them really stuck, and I was able to grow from it because I just didn't want to be in that place anymore. I didn't want to get older and just be living with this same regret, because it was a very, very deep one, very impactful, very painful. And I just decided I just couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, and so at the beginning of the video, I was saying that, we can turn regret into something good. So for me, I decided to turn my regret into gratitude. And what do I mean by gratitude? Those are two polar opposite descriptions, right? But I made the regret for me into something I could build from, not something I can build on. See, when you build on something, it just compounds the issue and it's just never ending. But when you build from it, then a beautiful thing is born. And now for some of us, the regret could involve, something or some situation where you may have to actually approach someone and make amends or bury the hatchet, if you will, with a certain person about a certain thing, situation, what have you. And if that is the case for you, I would highly recommend doing that. Start there. That's critical. Okay. But then at the same time, just as critical is wiping the slate clean with your own self, because that right there is your launching pad toward healing and releasing regret, getting past it, living with it, and moving on and smiling again like we all want to do. A lot of us don't really understand the magnitude that regret has over our lives. It's like a control mechanism. It affects how we speak about ourselves, what we think about ourselves, even in jest. Just certain things or certain qualities are not very positive that we sometimes take on based on being in that regretful state. And again, we don't even realize it. So for me, I started asking God to move my feelings out of the way a little bit, because you'll never be numb to whatever. We're just not created like that. But I asked him to move my feelings out of the way just enough so that I can use my reasoning ability and really think things through. So instead of just, for example, here's my example, here's my truth. I'm putting it out there, y'all. I was a young mom. I've been married before, and I was married very young, and so that obviously didn't work out. And so as a young single mom with 3 children with no transportation other than the bus, it was difficult. And I always worked since I was 14 years old, so I had to do what I had to do. But anyway, my issue was patience. especially in the morning when it's time to get ready for work. I'm barking and barking at these kids, and then it was almost every single time I would get to work and I would get all calm and okay, now I'm here, everything's all well now. And I would always get convicted, call your kids, apologize. And so I would call, well, not them at school, but I would talk to them later on or whatever. Whenever I was calm, I would apologize. But the thing, and that's fine and well. Kids, mom, we get you, it's no big deal. But it really is and was for them at that time a big deal because, you can't just be going around hollering at your kids all the time, and they're kids. You know what I mean? And so I just wasn't very, very patient. So anyway, I reflected on that for a long time, actually for years, and I would randomly just cry and think, dang, I was so mean, not all the time, but just when I was there, I was there. And so even through all of that, all of those negative experiences that my kids had to endure because I was so impatient and this and that, the other, I love children. I really, really, really do. My children know that I love them. They knew then, they know now. But I had to learn how to change that around by thinking of the good things that I did as a single mom instead of just wallowing and concentrating and focusing on, oh, I was so mean today. Oh, no, I had to stop and think. My kids don't go hungry. They have food every day. We had story times. I took them places when I could. I kept them safe. There's a lot of things I had to stop and think, well, wait, what about this and this and this and this? And that right there was a super plus for me. So please believe that there is a lot of good to be found, y'all, when you go looking for it. And something else I found to be real helpful, y'all, is journaling, writing or typing out things as it relates to that regret. Because remember, we're working on healing. So, and if you're the type of person that doesn't like to write or doesn't like to type a lot, then use a voice recorder, the one on your phone or a handheld one. Just get it all out. Get it all out. Let the tears flow. Be transparent. Be open and honest with yourself. And then later that day, or maybe the next day, or a couple days after that, or whenever, take a look at that journal again, or take a listen to that again, and analyze line by line. And then start, instead of thinking about, as you're analyzing, instead of thinking just about the regret, start thinking around it. And by that I mean, where were you at that point in your life? Not physically, like where did you reside, but where were you emotionally, psychologically? How are your circumstances? Were there things in your life that, influenced the decision? Or how, were you young, super young? There could be a number of factors. And then once you start to identify what those factors were, then it's like an aha moment, like, wait, right. Okay. And again, it's not about excuses, but it's just about healing, right? We're on this journey to heal. And I know this can be challenging because some of us actually enjoy pain. Some of us enjoy being stuck, So it's a challenge because we kind of feel guilty for some reason, like we want to just stay there and we almost deserve the punishment of suffering with regret. But when you really start putting some of these things to practice, you'll start saying, okay, well, yeah, I did that, and this happened, but what about that over there? And what about this where I was good at? Or what about that? And so all these things will blossom fuller and will help. It will just you'll have more to be appreciative for. There's that gratitude. Okay, everything about regret will start to morph into something different, and gratitude will start coming up. And then you can start growing and building from that, like we all want to do. So I wasn't going to make this video like super long or anything, and it's really pretty much all I had to say, but I wanted to leave you guys with, we are still human beings. As long as we are on this earth, we're going to be human beings who are not infallible. So we have to learn to love and forgive ourselves, to move on, to shake the regret. Let's live again. I hope you got something out of the video. I hope you smile. I hope you dance, and I'll see you the next time.